Without prompting a friend of mine recently, he says that no enemy will ever try to invade the United States because everybody is armed. And I can take it to the next level. I'm going to say nobody would attempt to invade America with such uh, an extraordinary army, armed forces, or military. But then after it dawned on me, it was on my mind all the time. And then I started to say, oh, so let me look back and see what really happens. Because in the past, you had very powerful empires and nations that were knocked off. So there must be something that I don't understand. Not that I'm wishing, an invasion here, but I'm just exploring it from an academic point of view. And I have Babylon as a classic example. Babylon was the second world empire. Now, the king had gotten in the way with God, besides himself, and God, you know, made him crazy and allowed him to go into the woods for about 7 years, and then he humbled up, and God gave him back his faculties, and he went back into the palace and everything, and he was king again. But Babylon had conquered Israel several times, and they sacked the temple, took all the precious metals and ornaments and utensils and so forth up to Babylon, which is Iran, or maybe Baghdad. Now, he had a feast where he brought in all the hookers and his friends and the emissaries and all the big shots from around the world. And he brought those utensils from the temple that they had in their treasury and used it into the party. Now, this was sacrilege, and so all of them, maybe there was a rustle, and when they all look up, they saw a hand without a body writing on the wall. Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin. And it's interpreted, you weighed in the balances and found wanting. And at this same hour, your kingdom is rent and given to the Medes and the Persians. Now, let us back up and look at this here. The most powerful nation on earth, empire on earth, has several layers of security. On the wall, there is security. Different precincts, there is security. In the White House, there is security. And in that ball, there would have been people dressed as emissaries, but they were security or the military or whatever. But what happened? I use another illustration to bring it a little closer. God says that He appoints leaders and He takes them down. He also appoints countries to be the strongest one. And then when they become useless, He just take them down. He says that three things you require of people and nations: that we do justice, we are merciful, and we are humble. Now, when Christ arose that Sunday morning, an angel came from heaven and called Him. But this angel came in blazing glory. He traveled maybe at 5 or 6 light years per second, so that when He slammed down on the earth, there was an earthquake. And the guards who had to be out there fell as dead men. They fell asleep from the brightness, etc. Mercifully, they hadn't died. And so nobody else was out there, it seems. Everybody else was sleeping or in some building or something, so that they weren't aware of this big, angelic manifestation. Now, if they were out in the field, they would have been blinded and dropped dead, or drop as if they're dead until the whole thing was over. So that with Babylon, the guys had time to, the Medes and the Persians had time to divert a river and came onto the wall through the river. And marched straight up to the palace and grabbed him and took him out there and enslaved him up in Tehran or in Iran or wherever the Medes and the Persians were established. So that what really happened then? You see, in our day, there's not going to be a succession of an empire. There's no new empire on the horizon. And again, Scripture explains this. It says that after Babylon, there would be Media and Persia, Greece, Rome, and then these current powers here today. And the next thing happening is Christ going to return and bring an end to this corruption and this evil and this injustice and this bigotry and all the foolishness that people practicing today. So that there's no need for that. But then on the other hand, if there were to be another empire coming on the horizon, then when it's going to happen, folks would fall asleep, the Russians would fall asleep, and for a day or two, when they wake up, or there might be some serious environmental problems, lightning, thunder, raining hard, hail, and everything. So everybody got to stay inside. And when they come out, it's over. The enemy is well entrenched. Take all the arms, take the military equipment, and just say, hey, just go home and enslave everybody. So that what could happen is this. Guys like the MiGs, Russia got some bad MiGs, when they run in from the catapult and they go to ride the wind off the aircraft carrier, there's no wind, they just fall in the sea. The ships on the sea lost its buoyancy and they're just sinking. And for some reason or the other, all the submarines just coming up to the top or whatever. Planes, helicopters spin in the rotor, but they can't pick up because it's not compacting the air. So it just stays right there spinning. There's no oxygen, no bombs could explode. I mean, this is something because you see, the battle for this end time is the battle for Armageddon. And some cheap theologians and some dumb ones saying that, you see, the prophet had said that the battle for Armageddon, and Armageddon is a place in Israel, a little flat place where armies used to come and do battle. But in those days, you maybe had maybe 1,000 men on each side, and they come and then they're going to think. Today, just the equipment alone, not even that, just maybe the supplies alone will take up the whole Guido Valley up there. So that for people to expect that, the folks can go down to the Middle East and to Israel to fight, that's so foolhardy. The battle for Armageddon has always begun. It began in heaven with Lucifer wanting to overthrow Jesus. And all the religious wars and all the stupidness that's going down all through the ages is the battle for Armageddon. But the one that is talked about, though, it's the phase is going to be a culmination of it, in which Jesus says that if it were possible, all right, they will exterminate all the Christians. So God is going to cut short that work in righteousness so that many folks could be saved, because there are individuals who are living today who will not die. Okay, so the question is, can Russia be invaded with all the technology and all the stuff they have? Sure, but it won't be necessary because it's going to be God who's going to be doing battle this time, and he's going to do it in a fantastic way with nature, the laws of physics and the laws of chemistry and the laws of all the universe going to change just to let humans see how stupid we are and how useless and ineffective we are, and that God is king.